The panel forgot about him. It looks like Alliance didn't.
Remaining.
I thought that Fnatic were actually going to pick it up once they saw the Drow Ranger, but let's see if they correct their mistakes with their Drow strat against EHOME yesterday. I'm sure they analyzed that to death.
And we will find out. We will find out. We're going to go straight to our game and begin game number 1 of this full best of 3. Alliance and Fnatic, one of these teams today will not progress. We are over for them. We've already eliminated enough teams from TI6. Another one will drop today as Alliance. Okay, how do you actually feel about this laning phase? I know the panel was talking about having a Baden teaming up with a Tidehunter for that off lane. How's the ET meant to slip in now? Is he a roaming support to help out mid and bottom? Or should he actually go and join Admiral Bulldog on top?
I think they realize that Fnatic's safe lanes are really weak. They don't have to do a lane up there. They don't need the Dazzle up there. They don't need the ABBA. And this way they can put EGM on a roamer. I think that's where you're really scared of Fnatic. Like, if you lose a lane and then Alliance start grouping up, taking your taunts, there's very little room for comeback with the lineup that they have.
So danger zone for them. Pretty much what you're saying right now.
Yeah, they need to make sure they win the lanes really hard, try and get level 6 ASAP on Bounty Hunter and Slardar, make sure the Storm's good. I do favor Alliance's draft here. It's much easier to execute and doesn't really require that much to outplay Fnatic in the team fight. They have the Tidehunter Ravage, and Fnatic, what do they have in the way of team fight? Maybe a little bit from Shadow Demon, maybe a little bit of Cleave from Sven, but those are all very minor AoE spells relative to Alliance's.
They've at least got the option to jump on the Drow Ranger on the back line. That's the advantage of Storm Spirit. He can go wherever the hell he wants. 3-4-3 as well. Potentially can jump around the back lines with track vision. Fnatic could just make better decisions during the team fight. But you are right, Alliance is pretty much a stand, seal, and deliver against Fnatic. And Fnatic will have to play very, very good Dota in order to stay on top of Alliance.
They need the Storm to get a lot of farm. If the Storm gets Orchid early, like Bloodstone Orchid, then they can actually deal with the Dazzle. But right now, if they jump to Drow Ranger, Dazzle's just going to be there in the back. Elder Titan's can stomp too. You don't even need a Ravage to save the Drow Ranger. But once the Orchid comes out, then they can actually just punish the Dazzle really quickly.
There's a big advantage for mid one, the fact that like he shouldn't die to S4. There's no rotating supports that are really going to be a nuisance, unlike S4 who has to deal with 3-4-3. Early Orb of Venom forces a leap out of S4,
you
so
know,
he'll have to go back.
We always say shouldn't, but remember yesterday with the Ember and Huskar?
Yeah, there's a lot of like coulda, shoulda, would. Ohio gets harassed a little bit on bottom lane. 3-4-3 still hovering around that mid, trying to keep S4 back away from the CS. And looks like finally EGM, yeah, it was only a matter of time before he'll come.
Bulldog has 5 stacks on them. That almost killed him.
Very careful of DJ. DJ also takes a lot of damage to do that. EGM comes to the middle lane. They planned on a Sentry Wars, now they at least have Vision, the Bounty Hunter. I was kind of surprised because EGM also arrived with early Dust on that Elder Titan. But they really want to try and find the kill. Ohio, that's a little off. Try to crush on Loader. Gotta be really careful when he does that too, because he has Sprint turned on. A little bit of extra damage.
Taunts on a Curse Toby. That's all. Admiral Bulldog on the tail end of the backstroke.
Admiral Bulldog is just going to try and bait them in. You think you got him, and then all of a sudden it's a turnaround. Ohio actually playing some more classic Jimmy spots, as he'll have to sprint, level 1 sprint himself away. There's still no good control coming out from Alliance. Until Lotus got Gust or Cold Arrows, Ohio's going to be free to do what he wants. Especially with EGM, like EGM went for Echo Stomp early on, but without the Spirit, the Splatter should always be able to get away.
Slow laning phase, I think, is better off for Alliance. Just need to get as many levels as they can on the Drow.
Kind of what we expected at the start. Very, very passive laning. No one wants to go anywhere too hard. 3-4-3 being kept down the levels until he leeches it from the lanes he goes to.
They're having a lot of trouble pulling on bottom, though. They have that large camp blocked out by the Sentry Ward, and then you have the additional illusions help control the wave. And Loda's only like level 2 right now, which is not really where you want to be on the Drow Ranger.
3-4-3. Managed to get vision superiority again in mid lane. Able to get rid of that Radiant Sentry Ward so he can attack into S4. But at the same time that happens, EGM moves over to the mid lane. So making sure that Mirana's still able to find some level of high CS.
Bottles on the way, but no additional sentries for S4. If you're a bounty hunter right now, what's your mentality? Which lane are you going to go to? Which one looks most vulnerable to you? Tidehunter, pretty difficult, especially if he has 6 charges. He has 0 at the moment. Mid lane, he has Leap. Maybe once Storm gets 6 or Storm gets a kill rune. Bottom lane, also not that easy, but it might be your best choice if you see one of the supports like out pretty far pulling. 3-4-3 going in, but...
That's the Flying Courier with movement speed boost. That's not going to go anywhere apart from mid lane. We got the Starfall from S4, early level 2. Arrow still available, going to fly it out, and Storm Spirit brought down. Alliance will spill first blood. For all the harassment the Bounty Hunter was offering, it just took a good combination from EGM and S4 to bring down the Storm.
Early level Stomp was really hard to dodge, especially when you do not have boots yet on the Storm Spirit. But it was really important that he picked up level
3-4-3. He gets the Courier. Had a decent amount on it too. It was the boots and the bottle of S4. Be a little bit annoyed about that.
They were very careful about making it fly over the tree line earlier. Maybe he should have suspected it because no one showed up to help out the Storm Spirit in the early first blood.
S4, you should be really careful. You're walking in range of a Sentry Ward. There's no Vortex available from mid one. Couple of chips into the Mirana.
Of my way.
I wonder if S4 is just going to have to hook it home and let Elder Titan take experience. Like, there's no way you can stay in lane without
EGM can get a perfect. There's no mana on S4. And 3-4-3 is coming in. The Shuriken toss. Not enough damage. The Fairy Fire keeping S4 alive. Are really trying to push the issue against mid one and almost lost their mid-core alliance.
Alliance are in a really good spot now. Now that bottom lane, that sentry is gone, so now they can use that pool. Load up, pick up a Quelling Blade too. He can even jungle pretty early on if he picks up a mask, but now they've gotten XP on their 2 supports, one by pooling, one by getting first blood. The bottle's a setback, but as long as someone's getting XP in mid, looks like EVM will be taking that, then they're okay.
Waiting for the stacks to arrive for Fnatic. Like, you're running a Sven, and right now I'm only seeing like 1 stack inside the Dire jungle. There's nothing stacked on the Ancients. You could be a little bit concerned that Admiral Bulldog could just slip over and try and take it. Ohio, should be okay into the tree lines. RK, nice crush from Ohio. Just keeps RK away.
Back that it stacks. Yeah, it would help them out a lot if the Bounty Hunter were able to stack a little bit, but I think they're looking to pressure more in the lanes. Like, if they lose their T1, that might be a really good potential for Alliance to smoking there. They did it yesterday versus the EHOME in this exact same situation where Fnatic were on Dire with the Sven, so they don't have that high ground ward, so maybe not too comfortable as to when the perfect time is, but their supports have been preoccupied, more than preoccupied.
Jay with nice zoning out of the top rune allows mid one to pick up double damage, so Storm Spirit with kill potential. Admiral Bulldog, DJ can disrupt, goes for the catcher as well, and mid one, he wants to jump forward if he wants to go for Bulldog. No level 6 on the Tidehunter, so there is no Ravage available. It won't matter the poison. It is going to be enough. There's only 1 stack in it, but it will be DJ bringing down Admiral Bulldog. It was only 1 stack, but it was 3 levels in that Shadow Poison.
Wow, he's level 5 already. Mid one didn't even have to expend all his mana over there. He didn't really have to go in that deep. Nice stomp coming out from EGM to try and save his ally.
Radiant's top tower is
good. They're doing well.
Ending phase looking good for them. He's still getting some good levels and farm onto Alliance. Like Loda has managed to crack the level 6. You can see him going for that early Dragon Lance. He's in really good range to beat down some of these towers, and that's required for Alliance. If Alliance is going to group up as 5, you need someone with a range to actually force a reaction out from Fnatic, and the best way to do that, start taking away the buildings.
Start taking down the wards. 3-4-3 just dewarded the mid Observer ward on Alliance, and now they're flying blind. No Observer wards out on the map right now, and they still need some time for their lineup.
Push the lane to the tower. Loda triggers his aura. They really want this T1 tower down the bottom, and Ohio's in no position to fight. So this is a very easy, simple T1 tower for Alliance. It's to be expected when you run it for a Ranger lineup with just an off-lane slaughter.
And HOD creep already coming out. See the small Satyr Banister, pull the Ancient Black Dragon, but T1's at critical HP, so this is no longer that safe of a place for her.
Is this when 3-4-3 actually has like defensive ward, like on the cliff side next to Roshan?
even so, you still have a hard time defending. Like most teams will smoke up there, so the Observer Ward only offers you so much protection. You need some heroes out there to scout out their maneuver.
Mid one, he jumps in, actually takes the regeneration rune from under the nose of the best S4 and Bulldog.
Really important runes for Storm. He needs the haste, he needs the DD, the regen, like all these are really good. Illusion, bounty, fairly useless to him.
S4 also wants just the bottle charges. Can't get that. There's still a rune down on bottom lane. But they'll see RK making a play for it, but while that's happening, Ohio sprinting forward. 3-4-3 is going to get close in on Loader. So if he wants to slow him down, he can do so. Ohio's going to get scouted out.
I like the early lanes build. They probably say like, man, this guy's 1100 HP. How do we kill him? Especially without amp. 3-4-3s looks like
the damage with the Storm. EGM brings it in. Ohio! He tried to stop him, and now in comes the Storm Spirit. Regeneration rune active. The Shallow Grave will keep EGM alive. And the Glory losing too, but in comes Storm once again. But he doesn't have the regeneration rune. There's no mana left. Only 8-1 charges and a couple of bottle charges. That's not instant mana. GM will TP out safely. And a good little skirmish there for Alliance.
And probably the two heroes that you least want to lose at this point, like Storm, a pretty big deal. But you need these two heroes to get level 6. They're severely lacking on damage, and how are they going to get bounty hunter kills and track kills without anything of the sort? And we already see a smoke maneuver for the Ancients. I see 2 obs on Aki. Where is he going to place them?
One to watch the Ancients. And the rest of the maneuver is to look towards that mid-tier 1. But while that happens, Mushi takes out the tier 1 tower on top lane. 3-4-3 starts to actually sits right on top of the Radiant Observer Ward. So Alliance are well aware he's there, and okay, 3-4-3. I was wondering if they could see him too. He wards the obs, but it's an easy tier 1 tower.
This stack is going to be
the hold.
Very hard to hold, and
he's still stacking it.
Yeah, Alliance can easily do it with the Tidehunter.
He
doesn't have level 4 Anchor Smash, so it won't be that fast, but they can still do it.
Fnatic's coming down. They want to take care of this stack if possible. You got the 4 levels up in cleave for Mushi, so he's ready to go down and do it.
You want to fight into Ravage though? Alliance can easily swing over Admiral Bulldog, but Fnatic are going to have to commit multiple heroes to take down the stacks. No Echo Saber on Sven. It's not going to be fast at all.
And right now, Alliance is going to force him to fight into Ravage no matter what. Like, they're just walking down the lanes, attacking a tower. Either Fnatic keep trying to side lane push, but that's only going to work for so long. Can they last long enough to get that Orchid onto the Storm Spirit? To get whatever, like, the Blink Dagger for Mushi next?
They need the track though. 3-4-3 just use a tome, but he's 30 XP shy of level 6. And he leeching some from Sanction stuff. Oh, there they go with Mushi, and Alliance nowhere in sight to defend this. With that Obs Ward dewarded by 3-4-3.
Mushi, you're really low, man. He should be able to survive through the Black Dragons, but only barely. Calculated. Will now have enough money to buy that Blink Dagger, if that is his wish.
Dota probably senses out that they're ganking him. Doesn't even want to be to the left side. That is the most common gank spot.
Alliance are coming over. They're 4-man smoke maneuvering. Storm Spirit puts down the remnants just because Loader came in close.
But he's in full defensive mode. Strength Treads and Dragon Lance. It's going to take them a while to kill him. Buying more time for that grave to come out from Ake.
Third jump time. Well, Ohio already using his crush to farm. And then sprints away. Alliance too far out. Obviously no Blink Dagger on that Tidehunter just yet. It's more of a mech build coming in, the survivability, the 5-man maneuver Alliance lineup. And Fnatic have dodged them. The smoke maneuver from Alliance will probably still end in the tier 2 tower in the bot lane dropping. But Mushi, straight back to the farm. They wait for the right time to fight.
He's back to farming, but he also picked up an item. Sven's actually gone forward to the Blink Dagger. Normally at this juncture we see Echo Saber or Armlet, so with the Blink Dagger pickup, he definitely wants to fight. They need to be able to kill Dazzle. He can't TP though, he just TP'd up to the top lane. So this fight can only be held back by Shadow Poison pretty much. That's their only that's the only D push. The mid one, he's actually wrapping around the rear, farming up the camps right next to Alliance's push. The Slaughter is forcing the mid lane by crushing and pushing to the tier 1. They really need more tower damage in their other lanes. Mushi and Ohio haven't really been hitting the towers. Mushi's actually farming up the Radiant Ancients in the meantime.
Tier 2 tower is gone. DJ slept up by the Stomp. And well, he does have a defensive disruption. Won't come down in time. As 4 with an easy Starfall finds the pick.
They don't even get the mid T1 tower. Mushi was just... Oh.
Even in death, Shadow Demon can still cause a problem. I still love him mid one. He's just waiting. Arcade will walk around the corner here. Oh, high's in the neighborhood. Arcade's going to get picked. Alliance not moving out as a squad. They didn't really think anyone was behind, even though mid one was creep skipping previously. But even though they didn't take down the mid tier 1 tower, Zven is still by far the top net worth on the field. Mid 1 is getting a lot of farm from jungle camps, and now they have to Moonlight Shadow to protect Admiral Bulldog underneath his own tier 1 tower.
I think they're overcompensating for yesterday. Yesterday they didn't group up, they split up and farm too much and they got picked off. And this game, they look at Fnatic's lineup, they look at their mistakes from yesterday, like, okay, we need to group up, we need to push, but they're not really balancing out the farm and the push that much. They're behind the net worth by a fair margin, despite there only being 7 kills in this game. And normally you'd be like, oh, well, Bounty Hunter's not really getting value out of it, but the other heroes are getting a ton of it, mostly the spend, and he is still ready to fight.
It's the XP craft, man, that's the big one. Like a 6.5 grand going the way of Fnatic for that. Mushi right now, the Blink Dagger's a great fighting item, but it also is just making him progress from camp to camp inside the jungle.
I think they need to make them keep guessing where the Tidehunter is. As long as Tidehunter is showing, they know when and where to fight. Like, I think they show the Drow Ranger pushing out the lane, and then is Tidehunter behind them? They don't know. Sometimes they have to let the Drow just solo farm. Sometimes they might have to overcommit and get baited out. They need to put them in that position. Ravage double down on bottom.
Yeah, bottom lane, they're going in. Ohio gusted back. So they'll find the kill on the Slaughter. Mid one is already ball lighting himself away. He's going to go all the way back home. So you commit your Ravage, you bring down the Slaughter, and you bring a lot of players down the bottom lane, but again, Fnatic pushing in the top lane. They're dodging Alliance in every turn. S4 needs it, it's arrow. DJ sidesteps it out. EGM with no spirit does have his storm pump, but DJ turns, purges. There's no one really attacking EGM apart from all the illusions of himself, and DJ even dodges the attack. The poison not enough to get the kill on the other Titan. All up on top, Mushi trying to just finish off this tower. The anchor smash causing some problems, and Mushi still able to complete the job. And that's a tier 2 tower going the way of Fnatic.
Alliance are just losing structures left and right. Too many to the way of Fnatic at this moment. And it doesn't really matter if Alliance have warded up the Dire Ancients, because Mushi can just farm up the Radiant.
He really doesn't care that much, does he? As long as he can find the money. And this Alliance 5-man ball just being denied, pretty much.
He looks like an alchemist on a net worth chart. Look how far ahead he is of everyone else.
He's even going, like, for all the farming that Mushi's done, like, he's been 0 kills, 0 deaths, 0 assists, involved in absolutely nothing. Obviously, Fnatic's only got 3 kills in this 16-minute game so far, but then he builds an S and Y, another early combat item. But once that's up, the Orchid should also be pretty much near completion for mid 1.
I like the Orchid rush this game as opposed to the Bloodstone. Most of the Stone people will get Bloodstone first, but I think with this sort of game, you need to control the Dazzle in the fight so that the Drow Rangers fall. It's also pretty good for the Tidehunter if you can actually coordinate and make sure that you focus them. But again, Alliance are grouping up. There's so many heroes in the top lane, and Fnatic are like, okay, well, we'll just do Roshan. We have amplified damage. They have to respect the Stormpeter, one of the best Aegis carriers in the game, and Alliance just gonna have to hand it over.
Yep, it's the oldest classic trait in the book. Roshan for a Dire tier 1 tower. As S4, well, he's coming over, throws the arrow, it's going to come into the pit. Roshan's low, and it is killed by the Dire. The arrow will connect on Mushi.
That was way too close. I think one of the heroes is like, okay, I'm just going to tank it. They saw it coming.
Jump in front of Roshan. Yeah, well, S4 threw it out right next to a Fnatic hero. So now Fnatic is Storm Spirit Aegis the Immortal. Got a free jump in initiation with a second life.
Yeah, it's like, normally you want Bloodstone so you don't die in the fights and that barrier of HP, and if you survive you get Bloodstone charges, but with the Aegis they can just suicide for the Dazzle and I think just easily mop them up for a 4-on-1 or 5-on-1 trade.
So does Alliance just get involved now? Is that the play? Wait out the Aegis Immortal, or can they still 5-man maneuver? The Ravage is back up. They do have the mech on Bulldog.
They have the.
Are they stronger?
The more important thing I think is the Ags on the Murana that just came online. So with this, I think this is their timing. I think their line was built to fight. They can farm, but as I believe Winter mentioned earlier, it's like Bulldog he's on Tidehunter this game. Not on a Lone Druid, he's not on a Bristleback, he's not on something that scales particularly well. He's 1-1-1, and they've been looking to fight all game, but keeps going at this rate, Fnatic's going to easily outscale them. They're just going to be able to mow them down with this overfarmed Sven, who can just get a BKB and just run at you. With that, when he has that amount of farm, there's nothing that you can do. He's going to have like 30 plus armor. Going to be affected by Ravage.
So instead they just have to group up and go.
They have to do something.
Oh, 3-4-3, the dust will come out from EGM, finding him, trying to go straight to the stomp. That will put the Bounty Hunter to sleep, and a follow-up cold arrow. Elder Titan will find the last punch, so no Bounty Hunter for the fight. They won't have track available.
Bounty Hunter, or sorry, Sven's already on the bottom lane, pushing, blinking past waves. He already took down the T1, and only now do they start hitting the T2.
Just a little bit to the south, Ohio waiting in the tree line, right next to S4 as well as Admiral Bulldog.
He's waiting for someone to TP. Mushi caught Godstrain. They want Alliance to TP out.
That's not happening yet. Okay, now it is the Dazzle on the hillside. It's Arcade, who's the first one to leave. S4's on the run. Already stacked up with 2 poisons. The crush onto Admiral Bulldog. Mid one coming in close. Orc is available for him. The ET split up. Fnatic easily dodging it.
And 3 T2 tower from Mushi. Just put Alliance in a really hard spot there. If they TP out with like a Tide Hunter, they're just going to jump them without Ravage. And if they don't TP back strong enough, then Mushi just takes the free tower and likely even gets a kill if it's a weak support. So they're just forcing Alliance into these inopportune trades and situations. They constantly have to decide. DJ's like keeping the Tide Hunter in check, so they can't back out cleanly. And now even Ohio and Mushi might even sweep in from behind if they're not careful. And Alliance can't even team fight at this point.
Oh, they have to back up. That's a huge creep wave up on top. There's the threatening Mushi on bottom. Fnatic are just playing like really smart and very elusive Dota against Alliance.
On top of that, looks like Mushi is finally going to go for a BKB. I say finally, it's 20
top
minutes.
lane, the jump in. It was already set up with 3-4-3 coming in close. Gets the initial slow from Janata. Now with no Dro Ranger, Pen takes out another tower. 20 minutes in, farming up Radiant Ancients. There's only one remaining outer tower 20 minutes in for Alliance. And they're the team with the Dro Ranger. They're the team with a lineup that was meant to 5-man force Fnatic into bad team fights. And it just hasn't worked.
This is going to be really bad. Sven, just 1 minute, he's going to have his BKB, and then they can just jump them without really any fear in the world. Or just wait until next road, or they can split push and farm. Like, there's so many different options available for Fnatic right now. And Alliance are...
They have one key item that arrives. They have a Blink Dagger on the Ravage, so technically now Admiral Bulldog will be a lot harder for DJ to keep in check. They need vision of Bulldog, however. Right now they got track over on Arcade. They do see him quite easily.
Do they want to fight right now, though? There's still about half a minute left.
Fnatic knows. Like, you finish the BKB. Like, you don't go high ground without your BKB.
Well, and you have way better wards on the Fnatic side right now. Really deep wards. Whereas Alliance have one near the top, one kind of in the middle. Maybe not likely to get dewarded, but I don't really think they can do that much with that information. On top of that, Fnatic have the Bounty Hunter constantly scouting out for them.
I'll at least know when Fnatic fall back over the river.
They want to time a fight with the Aegis expiration. It's going to be about 5 seconds away. So now Alliance have the green light to jump in.
But where's your target? The Observer scouts out Ohio moving north, but EGM's the only one near him.
So I think they have to do something before the next round. Be a really important time for them, but yeah, I think Fnatic are more than willing to take a fight. Up until then, they're like, okay, well, they're stronger than us right now. They have the Drow, but I think Drow is already kind of peaking relative to the Sven, when Sven is like 50%.
Speaking of which, Storm Spirit looks like he's... Okay, Loda stayed there just a little bit longer. He probably would have just gone for the straight jump. Loda does have the Hurricane Pike up now. So he's got some extra things to work with from Alliance's high ground defense, and this isn't an unusual position for Alliance. Being a long way behind, fully 8,500 in the net worth, over 10,000 experience behind too. A very slow game, but a very patient game. They just have to pick the right opportunity.
Be really worried for the Drow Ranger though.
Oh, Bulldog? Hello? Who really meant to blink into Fnatic just then.
I think your worst nightmare going like as a Drow Ranger going to late game is like a super high armor hero going into you. We've seen TNC constantly draft the Axe versus the Drow Ranger, and Sven is a similar hero in that he just has tons of physical mitigation and will just run at you, disable the marksmanship, and just cleave you down. And you just don't have that much upside as a Drow Ranger. And the later the game gets, there's not really that many items that can help you out.
3-4-3. Arrow's going to be off target. You still got mid-one in the neighborhood. They want to commit for this. It would take a lot from Alliance. Like, we're talking Ravage to even get a kill here. 3-4-3. Oh, the double starfall. You have to respect that magical burst damage that comes from the Mirana Ags.
I think it might be worth it for Alliance to invest in a gem at this time, so they can actually take fights with the Ravage and maybe catch Fnatic off guard. One point, also just deal with GM. We're dead. So dead. Mid-one and Mushi just destroyed him on the bottom lane. S4 will jump forward, then Mushi triggers the BKB. No leap of S4 thanks to the Orchid, and Mushi would just TP out under the protection of that magic immunity. Worth with 10-second BKB. Kill, have damage on the T3, and 3 or 4 TPs that looked like coming out from Alliance, and now they're kind of cornering their base. Supports can't defend against these waves, they can't push out the lanes. That means you need a course to do so, which means you really push out and take objectives, and I think they'll just constantly instill that fear onto Alliance. They have to huddle around their base, Roach is open to them, and then they have to be even more scared because Storm Spirit.
Oh, S4 actually managed to hit an arrow onto Ohio, a good 5-second stun. He was just farming, but he was farming underneath the Radiant Observer Ward of Alliance. And it's pickoffs like this which will give Alliance some breathing room, and good time to have it. Roshan could potentially be up. Fnatic can't just slip over. It's a 40-second respawn, so Slaughter will be up in time, but Alliance already smoking up themselves. They move out, there's a sentry ward down, the bounty is not in range of this. They have no idea what's going on.
Bounty Hunter scouted out. Pop Tidehunter smoke.
They trigger dust. They know he's in the tree line. The Weave will give the vision, so it's 3-4-3. Out of Titan. Once again, EGM will find a kill. That's his third for the game.
That is the worst target for the Smoke Gang to pop on, though. And he even got an Observer Ward, so he has 2 Observer Wards down to the left side, so they can see exactly where they go.
Take anything at this point of the game, though. And you're still getting a lot of money into Mirana, as well as Dro. The fact that S4 almost has the same net worth as the Storm Spirit, pretty impressive considering the state of the game.
So we picked up a Yules. That's good versus the Storm Spirit. You'll see Yules on new mid laners, I suppose, like Lina in particular, sometimes SF. What do you want to deal with the Storm Spirit back when they were really popular Alliance? Blowing a second smoke at this moment. They have the Ravage, and then they have all 5 heroes. This could be the time to brawl, but Mushi is the one to watch. Yeah, actually,
the Moonlight Shadow. 3-4-3 is going to break the smoke. The Moonlight Shadow still keeps them in Viz. Not sure if Fnatic really saw it or not.
They're going to try and blow up Mushi? I don't know if they have enough damage to do it before he BKB'd.
Especially when S4's not there and Mushi just blinks into the tree line. Does have a TP scroll available, hasn't used it yet. The Spirit searching for Mushi in the trees, but it's so close but so far away. Mushi's TP all the way home, while Fnatic actually 4-man smoke. The smoke will be broken by S4, who gets tracked.
TP was a little bit too far back. I think I would have preferred like a TP back to the T3 so they can re-engage very quickly, but now Fnatic, they waste the smoke of their own, trying to catch Alliance and flank them from behind.
A soldier's fortune.
It's so hard for Alliance to really catch up to anyone from Fnatic. They got so much money, even DJ having this Blink Dagger. There's too much maneuverability on Fnatic. They got 3 Blink Daggers to work with. And then the Invis as well. And the Ball Lightning.
Mirana's farm though, I think she can easily get a pick off by herself with the Yules. Maybe not on the Sven, but anyone else I think is quite vulnerable.
Loda's gonna be a lot happier too once he gets that ultimate orb, having the Mana style, breaking free of the Orchid silence of the Storm Spirit.
Spell amp.
Yep.
All pretty good.
Warlock currently killing a traitor inside the pit, but he'll have to move over. Mushi hit by an arrow. Yule Scepter up. That's S4. Trying to prepare for another jump. They go for Mushi. BKB triggered. Ball Lightning mid-one. Trying to come in to help out his Ball with a stun. Mushi walking away. The Ravage committed mid-one. The damage from Loda. Suicide will happen. The Alliance don't get the kill, but at least they put the Storm Spirit on the sidelines. EJ's not out of the woods just yet. S4 rotating over, gonna find 3-4-3. The first starfall into the second one. They've lost the vision on 3-4-3. And with a blink dagger, DJ got far enough into the mid lane trees to TP himself away to safety. So again, Alliance robbed of any kills thanks to the Bloodstone denied. But we'll be thinking about Roshan.
They don't have Ravage for this. That was pretty good for them. They had got Mushi there. Ooh. Highest net worth hero in the game, but not really able to contribute too much to the team fights. Not respecting the magical burst from Piranha. Almost caught off guard. Feeling nigh invulnerable with the BKB.
Fnatic are coming.
I think they can just go inside the Roach pit. How are they going to deal with the Elder Titan Spirit, though?
Oh, did EGM notice that? Yeah, he did. The Spirit actually clipped Mushi while it's still under the cover of smoke.
But you still have to fight without Ravage if you want to take a fight here. Ideally, you want to stall with the Elder Titan stump, but he just used it. There's no Spirit there.
Oh, that arrow actually helping Fnatic. A full 5-second stun on Roshan with the amplification. Alliance. Now they're going to Moonlight Shadow in, but the 3-man punch! Ohio! He goes straight into the mix. Mushi will try and counter. He only finds an illusion. Stormsburn in pretty deep, but he'll find his target. And a warming EGM pulling back the Elder Titan. The Freezer by a little bit more life. This one, the Aegis model will trigger. EGM trying to hold him in position. The ET splitter. Well, Fnatic just waited all out, and then EGM will fall. They look for more. The stun on Arcade. The extra truck will go to work. Mushi does get hit by an arrow, so we can't help out. The mid one, the long jump in. Yulka up with a gust. It keeps mid one control into the tier 2. Dota will get a revenge kill, and that's a big one to take a dominating streak ended.
Seen some excellent gusts from Drow Rangers recently. Nice one there to get the kill on mid one. That one will not be Bloodstone denied, so a lot of gold going the way of Alliance, and that was pretty good considering they didn't have Ravage that entire fight. They did a really good job of limiting Storm Spirit's damage during that. Also, Sven, he didn't have detection. He went on the illusions because that was the only thing that he could see, and he kind of got kited during his entire BKB duration. Now it's slowly starting to tick down. It's already 7 seconds down for Mushi.
Don't have this timer running out too early, but he is starting to rack up more damage as a Daedalus recipe, but doesn't have the team edge at the moment.
The prize is mine.
We're going to get to a point where Alliance, if they do get caught out by this Venom, it's only going to take one swing and Mushi's going to kill them all. And that's just because he's got so much money, so much net worth, almost 19,000 on Mushi.
Like he's going Daedalus even, so it doesn't even want to tank up. I think, like, I kind of like Fear's build yesterday where he went for like Blink HOD AC, and it could be optional, depends on what kind of defensive support that you have. But I think the AC is like really, really good versus line. You're gonna be kited because there's Grave, there's like Yules, and all these other spells. His BKB's duration is getting kind of low, so you can still help your team out with the Aura. You don't know how many swings you're gonna get off, and he also doesn't have an Echo Saber, which I think is really where the build shines.
That's the sort of thing Alliance had just done. They planted an Observer Ward and Sentry Ward at the top river. This will allow them to know when Fnatic is coming to gank S4, who with BTs and that high movement speed, thanks to Yule Scepter and the maneuverability of Blink Dagger, you can just keep that split push going on top. Problem is, he hasn't seen any of Fnatic in a while, so he's very concerned they're just waiting somewhere.
As you mentioned earlier, Alliance are kind of used to being in this position where they're down but not out, and gonna have to rely on normal tactics to do this late game. DOT on Mirana, good way to start split pushing. Drow Ranger, not the best at split pushing. It's not a Terrorblade, it's not an anti-mage, it's not a Naga Siren, which Odo probably would have favored at this point in the game, but he stuck with what he has. And
Lions, 4-man smoke move, they're going to come up through the river.
They have BKB on Ohio.
Their Observer Ward and Sentry is going to scan out 3-4-3 in a bit, but the Moonlight Shadow, the smoke broke as well. So Bounty Hunter scouts out what's going on, and Fnatic, they're getting out of here. They do not want to give Alliance a fight again. But at least Alliance for lane positioning where it is, and Ravage up, it can do what they were meant to do all along. 5-man maneuver, push to a tier 2.
But BKB ready for 2 of them. Elder Titan Spirit comes out and is going to hit on the smoke heroes.
And again, Bulldog, Anchor Smash, 3-4-3. It was a range, it's the Sentry Ward that's up there for the jump forward. Florida, that's what is in a good spot. It's going to snap back all of Fnatic, but you've also got the Drow Ranger, the Damager spent just way too much. The Ravager by a little bit of space here. Also helps them to get the kill over on that Storm Spirit. Arcade, TP's out, not possible. Mushi has the stun available. Even Ohio crushing for good measure.
Oh my god, that Drow Ranger just got obliterated. She had
Dire's
amplified
middle
damage and got
tower
hit
is
by a
under
split
attack.
earth, and there was no time to grave, no time to really do anything there. Tidehunter maybe could have ravaged, but that's not going to help versus the BKBs. The tough fight for Alliance. They at least didn't have a gem there. That would have been really disastrous. Fnatic recently picked one up on DJ at that point, but Alliance just not geared for 5-on-5 at this point.
Also a bad sign when Fnatic it could be willing to push even harder. This should be the tier 2 tower at least down the mid lane because there's no Ravage for 97 seconds. Every time this thing is off cooldown, Fnatic will be more and more confident to fight. Even with the BKBs already up, they already feel confident enough when the Ravage is there.
They need a way to pop the BKBs without being ravaged. Because Fnatic, they're not really scared. The one time that we did see the BKB cores scared was when Mushi got jumped on that bottom side. And I think they need to do that again. I think the Mirana may need to go for a very burst heavy build, like an EB. You just like leap in, you use your EB, double starfall combo, and then you can disengage. I think we saw that from like old Chicken. But you want them to like, oh crap, I have to BKB right now or I'm gonna die. They do have like a defensive disruption, but you always want to make them panic, and then once the BKBs are down, Ravage. And right now it seems like Fnatic are actually forcing the Ravages out of the Tidehunter instead. So that it's an easy for the team fights.
But that's been the way this whole game's been going. It's Fnatic forcing any reaction they want out of Alliance. And always denying Alliance what they want. Big group up and team fight, at least with a vision advantage. The fact that Bounty, he can sacrifice himself all he wants. 3-4-3, hasn't got a single kill, he's got 7 assists, he's all about getting the track up, 4 deaths to his name, but he's that walking reveal board that Alliance just can't do anything about. Wouldn't have been happy too, the fact that EGM with that smoke break on him, or the Moonlight Shadow break on him, the way it did. But they're coming again. Alliance will group up.
This time, Fnatic have another BKB, this time on the Storm Spirit, so this fight could potentially even go worse than last time.
Unless they can find the jump. But with a dire sentry ward on the hill, Alliance can't get really good vision here. That's why they put their Observer and Sentry up in the lane and a little bit further down, more shallower in Fnatic's jungle. But they can't find the opening, there's no real way they can go, so they fall back. Loda needs to farm his BKB as well, he's about 1,000 gold away from that. They give him the bottom lane to do so.
I think even with the BKB though, he's just gonna, like, what's the BKB gonna do versus Sven? Sven will just right-click you, and even if you force tap away, you can still get cleaved if someone's out in front, or if you have Manta Illusions, which will actually likely happen in a team fight. Fnatic trying to smoke the long way around. Roshan not available to them for at least.
They're coming for Loda. Loda is right on top of that dire Observer ward, plus he's farming the creep wave. That is one very, very dead throw. With a blink crush, Min 1 goes in. And that is a full minute on the sideline because he bought his overclock before he died. The arrow will keep Mushi away, perfectly hit from S4. And now it's up to Alliance to keep Fnatic out. They have 1 minute without Loda.
Well, half of God's Strength duration at least has been gone for them, and Loda did manage to buy an Ogre Club. That means he won't have buyback, and they're going to have to hold this.
Mushi keeps going. The arrow misses once again, blink crush, S4 caught out. He doesn't have his leaf available, he does have yours, however, send him up and towards the air. The Aegis for keeping Ohio out of the fight. He hits the ground from the Yules, a quick blink out. Fortification is still available for Alliance and Fnatic. They're not going to go for any more. The BKB is on cooldown for the Storm Spirit. They're not going to force the issue.
They just want to be able to play it safe, take down the Roach, give the cheese to Storm. If he has Aegis cheese, he can just go absolutely crazy in this fight. Yeah, 2.5 minute respawn. So a little bit of time for Alliance to find out how they want to defend the pit, maybe de-ward their side of the jungle.
It's now that time for the gem. It's that time for the vision.
I think they needed it a while ago, but the problem is no one's really getting any farm. Elder Titan went for the solo crest to try and help protect the Drow Ranger. Dazzle has just been buying wards non-stop. It would have to be like Murano or something like that. Would buy the gem, maybe Tidehunter. Tidehunter is 1100, so I think it's that time. You're getting close to that point where one more fight and you're gonna go into that like point of no return.
At the same time, like, you know what's in Bulldog's mind? This is the way Bulldog plays. He's thinking, I need a refresher orb. If I have my double Ravage, those BKBs go down to 5 seconds, I got a chance that team fights can actually go the way of Alliance with that big AoE double stun time. And then the control, S4 spends his money, he buys a Shiva's card on this Mirana. Into 3 mealees to help try and at least keep him away from this Ven once that BKB wears off.
They need some way to deal with the BKBs. Instead of going for offense, he will go for the defense.
Just survive. Try and fight another day. Roshan's up in 1 minute.
Lions are huddling their base though. They've blown a lot of smokes in the last 10 minutes, so I don't think they have another one available to them. Doesn't look like they have any in stock. I don't see any on chicken, none of the stash. So I don't know how they're gonna try and take this next fight. What's the best angle of approach for them?
You do still have Moonlight Shadow, but then there's Orbs and Sentries down for Fnatic inside the Radiant jungle. That also helps. Keep getting their lanes pushed in. Fnatic go back to what they started this game with. They just keep pushing in the top, they keep pushing in the bottom.
Oh,
and they got so much
on his
money.
own creep. Oh, Roach.
Radiant's top tower
That's an Aghanim Scepter on the Shadow Demon now.
Wow.
Yeah, we thought the SD had a decent amount of farm before. Full Axe, Ohio. King into lips at just the side of Loader on the bot lane.
How's he almost as farmed as Bulldog?
Good question. He has been the deep push for Fnatic early on. Like those high levels up in Poison, he was mopping up the creep waves all the time.
Yeah, Roshan respawned. Satyr Banisher will get wind of it. Fnatic can start thinking about making their way there after they push out the course.
Our Alliance? Okay. Well, S4 gets rid of that setup.
They can really easily scout with illusions though, or Storm Spirit, so I don't really think Fnatic are that worried about them sneaking it. They can try.
Alliance are in there, and right now Fnatic have made no movement over. Mid one is in the neighborhood. Okay, now they're making a better movement. Roshan down to half-life, the Weave is starting to kick up for Alliance. They got a lot of armor to work with. S4's already dropped the Aquila in preparation. The ET split up. Mid one, if you want to jump in, the split too early. Ohio gets the crush. It's killed by the side of Bounty Hunter. He picks up the Agency Mortal. Alliance tries something sneaky, and now they may pay the price for it. The mid one's all over him. The Shallow Grave will keep S4 alive a little bit longer. The mid one is there, waiting arms. Will even find him. No into the tree line. Piranha will TP out. Unfortunately for the rest of Alliance, they will not have that option. Loader as well as Bulldog drop. Mushi chases to the ends of the earth parquet. And they move over to EGM, who's just trying to man fight against DJ. There is no way to win that fight. Alliance getting crushed in the pit. Fnatic, they arrived late to the party. If that splitter was just a fraction of a second later as well, it could have been huge for him.
Yeah, it was almost perfectly timed by EGM, but Fnatic 3 in the pit. 2 BKBs, and they got the Aegis kill, or they got the Roach kill, they got the Aegis, and Bulldog was not able to get his Ravage off that fight. Not like it would have mattered too much because of the BKBs, and Mushi was just on top of Loader the entire fight.
No space for the drone, shield buyback, fortification will slow down the Raxing. S4 caught out by Storm Spirit, a perfect jump from mid one. It's a nice dust from Loader, maybe he can get a revenge on 3-4-3, but DJ is there. The waiting disruption arms. Pull 3-4-3 out of the firing line. Fnatic will finish the job. They bring down the melee. And now Bulldog jumps to the front lines. There is that BKB over a mid one as well as the cheese. So all this damage can be repaired. But he'll use his BKB charge instead. And a 7 seconds on that one. And Alliance sort of clean up the bottom. Cost them then the buyback on the draw. They did not want to have to do that.
Still very long time left on Piranha's respawn. And most of this game, though, they just have not been able to fight effectively as 5. Like, Fnatic aren't really worried about fighting into them because Alliance, they weren't able to push super hard in the early game. They weren't able to secure many objectives. They weren't able to control the Ancients that allowed Sven to propel himself to this same net worth.
Hello.
It's Alk Sven.
It's a refresher orb Mushi. Ben will now have double 5-second BKBs and double God Strength, depending on what he wants to drop, unless he gets his own dedicated courier.
The region's also very useful. They, like, near the end of the last fight, he had like 180 mana, which is just not enough to keep going. They don't really have many ways to. I guess is he gonna drop something? Maybe HOD. What? He has Moonshard and Refresher.
Yep. Guys got a lot of money. She's actually going at just shy of 800 gold per minute.
Dang. You want him to like kind of be forced into these like questionable decisions, like do you really want to get SKPs? Good versus Drow, not good versus anyone else.
He'll get whatever
He's not really worried.
The guy's a superstar. He's got all the money in the world.
He has his own personal armory.
Doesn't use that standard blacksmith that everyone else uses.
Mountain shop is for plebs.
Bottom lane, hello, Fnatic. They're looking for Alliance. Alliance aren't even in their base. They know it's not safe. And hang on, okay, DJ is attempting. He's attempting the moon play. They'll wait in the tree lines, but that one range tree, it'll come down. It reveals. It reveals Alliance. I mean, it reveals Fnatic. They'll bring down the range direct anyway, so Alliance, in a way, they dodged the fight. But they have everybody up.
They were able to plop a sentry or an observer ward down too, and it's not in the normal spot. It's much further south, and it will dodge the normal sentry ward. They do have the gem on the ET, so they won't have free jump inside of the base available to them.
That was the one advantage for EGM. He bought that gem just before the Roshan fight, so technically didn't lose that much money in the Roshan.
So the Alliance have been in this position where they've been down a lot, but you know who's also been in this position is Mushi, where he's just like overflowing with gold. He's negative gold. He spits out gold. Then what does he spend it on? He can't pull Ags. He can get BOT2s. It's marginal. He's already had to sell his treads, which is
maybe he could actually start buying wards for the supports. That would be a very nice thing.
That's what you do. Ward stone.
Yeah. Jump in. They found S4. Ohio with a perfect blink crush. S4. He doesn't have enough time to live. And now it's actually moving on to Bulldog. Amplification Ohio was thinking about it. At 73 seconds. That S4, he does have buyback available once again. You really do not want to be expending your money when you're already pretty well broke. Oda's going to spend his cash, picks up a Maelstrom. Probably praying he can reach an Aghanim Scepter sometime soon. But it's good deep push for now. Bulldog jumps forward. Nice gust. Mushi down a half-life with defensive disruption again from DJ. Always there when he's got that blink dagger. Mushi. Wow, she's still very, very low. Poor staff him away. Maybe this is also one of the reasons why he doesn't drop that Helm of the Dominator. Still needs that sustain in the fight.
Satanic or Heart would be pretty good for an. You could just BOT back and then refresh and then BOT back if they really wanted to fight, but there's no need in taking that risk. Actually, Mirana's down. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world for them to do that, but
it's a good display though to show that Fnatic isn't really as tanky as you might expect. When they get their jumps, when they get their pickoffs on Alliance, it works beautifully. But if Mushi takes that much damage from pretty much just the Drow Ranger primarily attacking him.
It normally won't happen like that though. The Slaughter is carrying a lot of auras. We recently purchased the Vlad, he has an AC, so combine that with Warcry and you're not really doing anything. You need the Mirana to deal damage. Yeah, it's a little threatening in case Fnatic aren't really exact with their high ground push.
Positioning has to be good. You can't just leave one guy on the front line to do all the work.
You can't just A-click and take your hands off the keyboard. Oh, Jimmy thing. Have you seen it? It's like, look guys, no hands.
Imagine that. He would have been that kid on the bike. Bloodthorn up for mid one. So he's got a lot more solo pick-off potential. He's right underneath an Observer and Sentry. Will not survive as DJ moves in with a gem. But Alliance at least get to see that Bloodthorn before the fight begins. There's some decent Dispel. Don't have that Dream like quick Lotus Orb available. It's coming from Tide. It's the Refresher Tide on the way. Or just buys the Perseverance for now.
Still a long ways away.
This is Alliance, the team of patience. Still only down one lane of racks. They're fine with that. This lineup, if you can get an Aghanim Scepter as well onto the Drow Ranger, you'll have a lot of options as far as... not gonna miss.
We're really lacking items on the supports though. Especially Dazzle. You'd want like a Ghost Scepter at the point. Big Glimmer. Play Ags. point in the game. And same with Elder Titan. He has solo right now, but pretty much any item would be great for him.
Concern when Bulldog moves out this far. He was disrupted before. It's like he's trying to bait the attack from Fnatic. But still at least protect Loda. As well as S4 if he does get initiated on.
Yeah, maybe they can like force a lot of BKBs when they initiate on 500 and then he can buy back, TP back in with Ravage. That is a pretty good way for them to win a fight. Fnatic have to know that. Ganked a lot of gold. Roshan respawning in 30. Fnatic, no creep inside Roshan pit this time. Probably sensing that it's up quite soon.
Oh, Bulldog, he jumps in, but at the same time, Mushi has the tier 3 count. Pitbull makes a slave for Arcade. He'll find the kill, no buyback available. Loda pushing back Mushi. He's in deep under the tier 4 towers. Maybe they'll have the damage. Mushi dropping quickly. He'll BKB, but they get the kill. 3-4-3 also going to fall. It's the Stone Spirit who's already out. They find more kills. Yours it up. DJ trying to keep Alliance away with that perfect EGM stump. And Fnatic, they were so patient. They were waiting for the opportunity. But they go in deep and they lose 3. And what a time too, because Roshan is back up again. Alliance can move over and technically force the buybacks as Ohio scouts out the fact that Big Man is alive.
Alliance won TI3 off the back of a lot of 4-staff plays, and that was a very similar situation. They double 4-staff the Drow Ranger, and Sven was like pretty close at a T4s.
He almost hit Fountain at that rate.
Yeah.
S4 got over 2,000 gold just from the kills. He's now up to 6k on the Mirana.
Oh, they were going to play it safe.
I think that's actually the most amount of money I've seen so far at TI for a killing spree. It was 1,640 gold for killing off Mushi underneath the tier 4.
That's ridiculous. He has 6 kills.
Oh, Mid-1 running over this kills. Oh, he's already found one again. poor Arke is just the scratching post of Fnatic.
Oh, that will not dissuade Alliance from taking down Big Bad Roshan. Solar Crest already upon him.
Haya's in a good position for a 4-man crush if he wants it. He knows they're in there. In comes the jump, the crush, the silence will be there. Admiral Bulldog, he's already extended the Ravage before, so you've lost one. Loda can't really fight this. The Hurricane Pike was himself on the hillside, however. He can't get back down again, so they'll have to TP back to base. And then Mid-1. Very close. That was a kill Alliance could not afford.
Dire's middle
But, yeah, it's now they realize Fnatic will have Roshan. And now back out, and they did get the advantage of stealing the gem off
Dire's
Fnatic.
middle tower has fallen.
Very small advantage at this point.
At least they didn't lose any cores. Tidehunter died in that big engagement inside the base, and did have to buy back, so he won't have refresher for this upcoming engagement. And all they really need to do is wait for them to go on to Mushi. Mushi just needs to hit towers. If they go on him, he just pops Warcry.
This courier, this is one perilous trip. The Observer Ward scouted out its movement. I'm fairly certain it's here for the point booster. Actually finishes a full E-Blade for Mirana. This courier has to get home.
Storm King easily jump it.
And 343 is also waiting for it. He'll move, he'll blink forward. So close. Now the Storms jump in, the courier. 4.7k worth of net worth.
So much for that Sven kill.
You'll have to wait 3 minutes before he can get that E-Blade. That also means he does still have buyback, so it doesn't put that in any kind of peril. I was wondering if Loda was going to complete up the Agnum Scepter, if you put a point booster on that courier as well. Instead, I'm seeing a Crystallis purchase on Loda. Still has buyback, doesn't have the full axe, which would have been really nice with the Maelstrom combo, but he's going a Daedalus build on this Ranger.
He's just trying to get any sort of items he can before this last fight. This might be like the last fight of the game, and you want every little bit of net worth that you have outside of buyback to be invested onto your hero. And net worth graph is looking pretty bad, but Mushi is banking 8,500 gold.
Yeah. Have we even seen him use that refresher orb even once?
Nope.
It's sat in his stash. It's almost like he's just buying home bling. Bulldog,
Radiant's middle tower
Ken on the
is
front
under
lines,
attack.
getting dragged up. Mushi gonna God straight hit the tower. Sorry, just walk right, hit the tower. Fortification will also be burnt from Alliance. The big pressure on the other lanes though. S4 needs to deal with this mid. The bottom lane is still with the mega creeps. Alliance have to turn their attention down there every now and then, but they don't want to turn away from this top fight. Ravage has just come up for Admiral Bulldog. They still have buyback available for the Mirana as well as the throws. The damage is there. Bulldog, great blink away. Getting down to the be enough, but Linus is up high, might be low. Mid one, he's going in deep. Under tier 4 towers, Moonlight Shadow making it very difficult for Fnatic to find a target. The Ravage, Hellfire! The BKB's top protector! Mid one will drop as well! So low, but not dead! And the Aegis Immortal, now that trigger! Nushi gets fired up away for the spear in the arrow! Bulldog! He will smash him entwined with an anchor! EGM will be protected! Alliance, they're holding this fight! Ohio is low, they force up down! Loda pushes himself into the fight! He wants to go against mid one! S14 to help him! They've got the damage, but mid one's got the range! Jumping in closer! Heals up from Mirana! Where's he go next? He goes in deeper! He goes for the Starfall! Mid one's still alive, but not much longer with a stun on the S4! He'll die with the help of DJ! The double buybacks are available for Alliance! They knew this! They still have to hold the bottom tier 4 towers are being attacked! The refresher orb is now on for Bulldog. He's already triggered it, and he leaves it at base. He doesn't reveal it. So maybe now Fnatic could go in thinking there is no Ravage available. And it looks like Fnatic, they've been cautious throughout the day. They're going to be cautious again.
Ben actually used his buyback during that fight and finally used his refresher, BOT back in, but he doesn't have buyback. That's probably what dissuaded him more than anything. Stormseer was a little bit low, but he has plenty of Bloodstone charges. And he's also making a lot of gold. 6,000 in Storms and for what will be item number 6?
For a Storm Spirit, usually Scythe. He can finally drop that gem. Yes, Scythe would be nice. Still want to see Loda finish up an item and finally see Mirana with that E-Blade. The courier is back alive. You have to keep that in mind that S4 had all that money spent, but he didn't actually have the item on him. If there was an E-Blade in that fight, it would have been very, very different.
Sven's dying very, very easy. I actually think he should keep the refresher on him so he can BKB twice and Warcry, right?
What do you drop? You really want to get away with the, like, you can't drop. Yeah, that'll be good.
He needs to play like a Life Stealer. The Life Stealer, you siege your tower with your rage cooldown. I think he needs to do the same thing with Warcry and then just back out. They're having to blow way too many cooldowns to save him. Like DJ almost got him out of the situation. Yep. He got 4-stepped out and then he disrupted and then he was able to blink after that and he almost got the BOT out. But you don't want your Sven to be in that position where you actually have to save him.
Okay, how does DJ have this much money? He's now got a BKB on the Shadow Demon. It's coming on the courier. This is, like, if you've got DJ in your fantasy team at the moment, congratulations. You're going to have crap tons of points. Even though the highest points right now does go the way of Mushi.
So out of the 10 heroes in the game, there is only one with buyback. That is mid one.
Everyone else expends their money. They know they need to fight. Alliance are very happy with this. If they keep Fnatic out for another minute, they have double Ravage. The refresher orb is off cooldown in 57 seconds time.
I'm actually surprised Stormseer doesn't have more charges. I guess there haven't been that many kills in this game, but ideally you have 25 charges, maybe 26, and then you...
He got the early charges, then had to commit suicide, then he got killed, and after that everything just dried up.
But like now, Storm's in this like somewhat weird position in the fight, so if you die, you can be back up in see like 35, 40 seconds, but you want to fight there with your team instantly. You can potentially win the game if you buy back, but you could also potentially lose the game if you buy back BOT and your team's already dead. Oh, not a great situation.
We've hit this point now. There's disrupting Sven illusions to attack a ranged racks down.
Your secret lives on.
I think this is also something Alliance have a lot of experience with in the past.
They're normally the ones doing it.
Yes, they are. It's the safety. They don't actually have easy ways to get rid of these illusions. It takes so much. This is when you actually wish you had that Aghanim Scepter on Loda.
Well, time to start on another tower that will...
Is Alliance really... I thought for a moment that actually there was a Fnatic line being drawn by mid one saying, can we loop around and go in through the mid?
The refresher's cooled down at this point, and Sven's been really squishy. If they can catch him in a double Ravage without his Warcry, and potentially like DJ doesn't BKB, maybe, but that's a lot of good digits used.
Yeah, that's a lot of babies. And they also have no vision to do this fight with. Like, the observers and sentries on the top lane are very,
they have the observer ward right here,
Fnatic.
right outside their T3 on top. This one can potentially be a game-winning observer ward if they can catch multiple heroes with that. And DJ well, actually, who's carrying them? Stormspirit hasn't really been close enough to de-ward that quite yet. They have a sentry ward on the north side, but it's just outside of range of this off. So they probably think they're in the clear in terms of not having vision. But it's daytime, so you're likely to play more carefully during the daytime. Yep. You expect the opponent to be able to see across the cliff. Nighttime, I think, is where Alliance can make a move, but that's still quite some time
It's
away.
still crazy to think that Alliance are keeping this at bay. They're almost 40,000 net worth behind, and they are still keeping Fnatic out. Most of that net worth, in fact, the difference is Sven's net worth. He's at 40 grand himself.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
He has a lot of like marginal upgrades for items. Like VOTs is like 4,500 gold that doesn't really give you any combat potency, and then he has a refresher in base, not really offering that much to him. Moonshard, not super effective. It's good, but not in terms of effectiveness per gold spent.
They really need more damage against those Sven illusions. they just keep coming, and bit by bit, that melee ranks, at least it can regen. But yeah, you have to commit double Starfall to it. There's still not enough damage. Loda doesn't have his full Daedalus up, so his damage also isn't that great.
Probably regrets not getting Axe now. Because he was in that position where like, okay, I might lose the game right now. I have 2,000 extra gold. I need to buy an item. And
Does he go back to it? Like, do you actually sell the Crystallis and then buy the full Aghanim? Oh, bottom lane, they actually find Ohio the arrow. Business from S4, mid one, he's got in. Again, Arcade. The punching bag of Fnatic is brought down again. And they look for an opening. Well, okay, BKB's triggered. It's Mushi on the run. S4 right behind him. The Stormbolt will go to work as mid one pokes the tier 3 tower in the mid. And again, Ohio on the bottom lane. Death by 1,000 needles. Lions just don't know how to start pulling them out.
at least Mushi's playing it a little safer. Like, he could have potentially gotten EB'd and Shivas and like double Starfall before the BKB, and then he'd be at like half HP, have the time to sync Fnatic up, but now he's like preventing himself from getting into critical HP territory.
And Alliance have to at some point come out here and try and fight this.
Yeah.
Like, if this continues the way it is, like, Fnatic will eventually take everything. They've already taken the melee racks on the top. It's only the mid that stands between Fnatic and Mega Crease.
How do you protect Ake though? Ake just dies.
There is no way to protect him. You actually just have to let him die. Forced to fight when Fnatic goes left a little bit more mid one. Now looks towards Admiral Bulldog. He's still giving respect. Admiral Bulldog does have double Ravage up Mushi. Decent amount of damage. Bulldog jumps in. The first Ravage will trigger. They need to kill off Mushi. Defending trap from DJ. They'll do the work. Lotus being attacked. The Hurricane Pike can't keep mid one away for long enough. Where is the kill? Has it come? Refresh Rob is done by Tidehunter. Four starting back in again. The poison almost killing Bulldog. Barely surviving with a refresher into a second grieve. Bulldog keeps himself up. But now they don't have double Ravage for 180 seconds.
I feel like Mushi could be doing so much more in these fights too.
Oh, Radiant's buried that again.
2,900.
It had Lotus Wionya. It got killed as it entered in through that top lane.
Mushi like needed to BKB the Ravage, and Shadow even was able to do it. Your supporter can BKB it, and luckily he was able to get the disruption onto the Sven.
Oh, one minute for 3-4-3 to stay alive. Him and Aegis the Immortal if you want to. They're actually trying to decide who takes it. So mid one, he'll be the man to take the Aegis to the Immortal. Also, Bloodstone's enough, but it means that Gem's just sitting on the deck. 3-4-3 will have to carry that.
They could just pass Storm Spirit the G's afterward. Still no Scythe on him, but he does plenty of damage, enough to kill Ake near instantaneously. It also has afforded a Ghost Scepter though, so maybe they can kill the Storm Spirit as he jumps in, because you don't want to use your BKB for a Dazzle kill, ideally. But they only have one Ravage left on Tidehunter. One won't be up for a couple of minutes.
I still can't believe Mushi is walking around with the SNY with Refresh Rob in his stash. He's also a very long way away from the rest of his team. As mid one, just going to cop a little bit of a Starfall damage.
Like, they could easily buy another chicken at this point.
Yeah.
Another gem. You just stash as much.
Okay, he's buying Butterfly. He's going down and buying Butterfly. So that's what he replaces his SNY with.
Butterfly's great. Also gives you some move speed if you still want that for whatever reason.
It's nice when Loda also cannot buy a Monkey King bar in this game. One, because he can't get the money.
That's why you hold a Demon Edge. You never know when it's going to be Rapier, or MKB, or Daedalus. I'm just playing.
Someone give Lotus some true hit. Oh, they're just, and again, now it's actually helping. 10 more illusions in.
Oh yeah, the illusion with the...
Oh, big one. He gets gutted. The start of the jump in. Admiral Bulldog doesn't go to Ravage off the ET splitter. It's not a bad position for Bulldog. He just pops no buyback. They have no Ravage here, Alliance. This could be it for Fnatic. The buyback will come out from S4. But you lose 2 heroes. Fnatic didn't really have to commit that heavily.
Oh my god, DJ with those demonic purges onto the Tide Hunter, onto the Marana.
And now he goes over the Bro Ranger. Keep going to work. You got all the vision thanks to Track. And Storm of Spirit, another long jump in. They find Loda. The Heatblade protecting him from S4, but Loda still so low. He can't Hurricane Flag out. The buyback will come in. But Alliance, they're being torn apart. There's almost nothing left. Fnatic, they have played this game now. They have hoarded the money. And finally, they can bring down this Billy Rack, force them to make it a double cross from Ohio. That could feel the deal as Alliance will lose all 3 and GG. Game 1 will go the way of a very patient Fnatic.
The strategy seemed like something that Alliance thought would work, but it doesn't really seem to suit their style. I think in particular, I don't know, it was just like their whole entire team. They could never really circle fights in the first 20 minutes of the game. I think that Mushi played pretty well for the first 20 minutes, and then the later half of the game was dominated by Mid1 and DJ.